This visualization represents encrypted data packets being intercepted and decrypted. In 2012, Dutch police used digital forensics to crack open a dark web file. Inside, they found a video depicting severe child abuse. Tracking the source of the file seemed impossible. The perpetrator had used the Tor network to bounce their connection across global servers, intentionally masking their IP address. They had scrubbed the file of all standard digital footprints, leaving investigators with a technical dead end. But the recording contained a single audible mistake. In the background, a detective heard a voice speaking Cebuano, a regional dialect from the southern Philippines. This identified a specific physical coordinate for the hunt. The investigation shifted from the untraceable void of the dark web to the island of Mindanao. Looking at this view of the Melbourne skyline, you are seeing the starting point of the operation. In 2011, an Australian man named Peter Scully fled this city to evade a series of outstanding fraud charges. Scully relocated to the Philippines. Knowing he was wanted back home, he adopted aliases like Peter Russell and moved dynamically across provinces in the Mindanao and Caraga regions. By constantly shifting locations, he stayed a step ahead of local authorities. He recognized a structural flaw in global law enforcement. By combining the anonymity of the dark web with the legal hurdles that exist between international borders, a criminal could create a jurisdictional vacuum. Local police lacked the digital tools to track dark web users, and international police lacked the authority to operate on foreign soil. Inside that vacuum, predators can operate with relative freedom. Scully targeted families living in extreme poverty, using their economic vulnerability to build a lucrative, borderless cybercrime business with minimal interference. The product Scully manufactured is known in cyberintelligence as hurtcore. This is an extreme subgenre of abuse media that goes beyond standard exploitation, involving physical torture and even murder, produced entirely on demand for a specific clientele. To supply this content, Scully and his local accomplices scouted impoverished neighborhoods. They lured families and young children into rented residential properties by offering false promises of food, financial aid, and educational sponsorship. This animated map illustrates the monetization flow. Buyers residing in affluent nations, including the United States, Germany, and Australia, submitted direct payments. They paid fees ranging from $15 to $500 per pay-per-view session, depending on the severity of the acts they requested. The distribution system was built for resilience. This map shows how darknet operators in other countries hosted and amplified the content. Webmasters in Canada and Australia dedicated hours each day to reposting the videos across decentralized servers, shielding the original source from detection. This operation functioned like a multinational corporation. It relied on decentralized digital distribution, foreign capital, and the systemic exploitation of vulnerable communities to generate profit. Taking down a decentralized network required an integrated response. No single nation had the legal jurisdiction, the physical manpower, and the digital forensics required to dismantle the operation alone. This interface visualization demonstrates a tool known as the ICSE database, managed by Interpol. It allows investigators to take seized media and analyze it at the pixel level, matching background objects, audio signatures, and image metadata against a global registry. By extracting forensic metadata embedded in the media files, investigators mapped out the structural layout of the rooms where the videos were filmed, establishing an exact timeline of production. These officials, standing in front of an Australian federal police banner, represent the resulting coalition. Dutch police, Interpol, and the Virtual Global Task Force funneled their digital intelligence directly to the Philippine National Bureau of Investigation and the AFP. Armed with exact coordinates, local Philippine authorities executed a 3-week physical stakeout. In February 2015, a joint task force raided a rented house in Malaybalay City, Bukidnon. They arrested Scully and seized the encrypted hard drives containing the direct evidence of his production pipeline. By combining international digital forensics with local physical enforcement, the task force broke the anonymity of the dark web. Apprehending a suspect is only the first step. The prosecution faced the immense legal hurdle of trying a transnational criminal using electronic evidence that had been gathered and stored across multiple foreign jurisdictions. To bridge this gap, prosecutors relied on mutual legal assistance treaties, or MLATs. These international agreements allow countries to formally share seized electronic evidence and legally admit it into a domestic court proceeding. This is the Supreme Court of the Philippines, which ultimately affirmed the results of the initial trial. Using the shared digital evidence, the court successfully convicted Scully and his primary accomplice, handing down life sentences for qualified trafficking and abuse. The man in this high-contrast red prison shirt is Peter Scully. Because of the sheer volume of evidence on his hard drives, a second batch of trials followed. In 2022, Scully accepted a plea bargain that added 129 years to his life sentence. His local accomplices received sentences of up to 126 years. The evidence seized in the raid reached far beyond the Philippines. Using the shared intelligence, authorities in Australia and Canada tracked down the network's international distributors, resulting in their arrest and imprisonment under local laws. The Scully case established a clear legal standard. When nations integrate their digital intelligence and commit to cooperative justice, the dark web is no longer an untouchable safe haven.